welcome to the Somerset Roundtable. My name is Shannon Martin, and I'm here today with Jennifer Soares Lazaro, and she's the new president of the Friends of Music program. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you for being here. So we're going to chat today about the Friends of Music program, how it started, the history of the program, the history of how we became Musictown, and then we'll talk about the current board of the Friends of Music and what wonderful activities are going on with the program today, things that the whole community can take advantage of. So Jen.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about what you know of the history of the Friends of Music.
Well, the Friends of Music started over 43 years ago, and the reason that they started was that there were a lot of kids in the high school level that were interested in music, that were part of a marching band, as small as it was, or part of a symphonic band, and the funding for them to become a great marching band was not there. So they needed to get some extra funding, and so kind of like a boosters club, the Somerset Friends of Music was started and created, and what it does is we still today fundraise and bring money in to assist students that are in the music program, not just at the high school level now, but also K through 8. And now that we're regionalized with Berkeley, we're also, reaching out into that community as well with some supports and any kind of financial help that we can give for the program in itself, and also for any students that want to be part of the music program that, are just unable to because, nowadays it does cost money to become part of a group, never mind just music, but also the sports teams and so on. So we don't want to see a talented student or a student with a desire and love for music, miss out. So.
Sure, no, it's a wonderful program, and it's nice to hear. I think we can see that in our community today, when we see a need, we fill a need, and it sounds like that's what people back 43 years ago did for our music program. And what about, did we become Musictown? Was that a moniker that came on early in the beginning of the program?
I think, yes, it really did, because it was huge when it started. It was so big, and I think we were just kind of, as the Friends of Music, amazed at the response. The original organizers of the Musictown Festival, which include Alice Aruda, who's still part of the group today, had gone down to Florida and had seen a music festival, and this is 43 years ago, so they thought it was so great, and we really needed to bring it back to our community to celebrate our individuals that are in the music program and to celebrate our community in the same way that they did down in Florida. Wow. And that's really kind of how it just kind of evolved up this way.
Oh wow, that's wonderful. Yeah, you mentioned Alice Aruda. There are others that have been in the past and currently are involved regardless of having students in the school.
Oh, absolutely. We do have members on the committee, members of the board that have students currently that are in the school system, but we have some dedicated individuals that have been there since day one that continue to support and do as much as they can to provide assistance to the board and support the kids in the program, because they just have a desire and a love for all these kids and what they do, and they wouldn't do it if they didn't love it themselves. Right. So the same goes for Mrs. Soa, who's been the only chairperson of the King and Queens now, but before the Kings were involved, we had the Musictown Queen, and she's the only one that's ever done it, and she's still going.
Wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's so great because that dedication is there from these individuals, and it's nice for the students to see that as well.
Oh, sure. I think the continuity of having those individuals involved, I think the continuity of having those individuals involved probably really helps the program, but I think probably having new parents on, as you mentioned, some of the parents on the board today have students in the schools, helps too, because I'm sure the music program has changed over 43 years.
Absolutely, it has definitely changed. From when they first started to when I was in the marching band until now, it's evolved into something, totally different, and doing, where we had done festival competitions, the marching band now is doing real competitions, and they're doing such a great job, and they've done so well, and they've got some amazing titles for their hard work and dedication in the marching band. And it's interesting to see how the music groups over the years evolve, because when I was in the marching band, it was really large. Marching band was the group to be in. And we had a very, very small group of chamber players, or orchestra, if you will, and maybe we had 6 people. This year, there are probably over 30 individuals in the chamber group. I could be wrong, it could be more.
Wow.
And you know, where the band may be smaller, the other groups are larger. So we always see that, you know, fluctuation with regard to the sizes of the different groups, because it all depends on the students and their desires and their likes. So it just kind of, you know, they go with the flow, and it just, you know, like I said, evolves.
Oh,
it
sure.
changes, you know.
And it allows it to be a little bit more inclusive for someone who,
Sure.
like the current group, the show choir with their Electrify
Yes.
group, and there's the
Amplify.
Amplify.
Yes.
Right, so for kids who maybe don't want to be in a marching band but want to participate in music, they have more offerings today than they did certainly when I was in school.
Absolutely, and the neat thing about the show choir was last year, there were so many kids that had tried out that Sam Bianco, who's the director, went before the school committee and asked if he could have a separate group as well, because he didn't want to turn anybody away, especially talented kids that really had a desire to be in the group. So he started the all-girls group called Amplified, because they, in the competition area, they do have, you know, just all girls or mixed group. So Electrify is our mixed group, and Amplify is our all-girls group. And so we have 2 groups of them, and we have our regular symphonic bands and marching bands and wind ensembles and percussions and jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's definitely something for everybody if they are musically inclined. You know,
Oh,
they
yeah.
really like
I don't
to
think
do it.
anyone in the community could say that Musictown isn't alive and well in this high school.
Yeah, definitely, and having this beautiful high school, it's such an honor to be able to watch my son on this stage. I can't imagine what it must feel like to actually perform on it, because it's incredible here. The whole auditorium, the stage itself, the lighting, I mean, it just makes them feel like superstars, you know, and they look it too.
Yeah. Do you want to chat about your current board? Who's on your board now?
Sure. So right now we have myself as the president. We have a vice president, Kristen Chase. We have a treasurer, Kimberly Collins. And we also have, well, Ira Schaefer, who is the director of the Fine and Performing Arts for the school systems. And we have our 2 secretaries, our corresponding secretary and our recording secretary. And then we have our committee members. So we meet every month, the first Tuesday of every month. It's always here at the high school, usually in the library, sometimes in one of the office rooms. But, you know, we love what we do, and we sit here in our board meetings and we talk about new ways to fundraise, new ways to get the word out. Facebook was something really kind of foreign to the group until a couple years ago. So I think now with social media, and we have so many things available to us to get the word out about, you know, what we're doing, and it's been a huge help, I think.
Wonderful, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the best way for people to reach out to you if someone in the
Absolutely.
community wanted to be a part of Friends of Music?
Yes, absolutely. We have a Facebook page, Friends of Music, and I am the one that runs the page. My information was put out recently due to the upcoming events in the newspaper, but the Facebook is the easiest way to get through to me, because, you know, as you know, nowadays you can have it on your phone and you have it on your computer at home, so there's always a way to get in touch that way.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So just for us to know, how is it you even got involved in the Friends of Music?
I have known about the Friends of Music probably since I was old enough to talk. My father is a retired educator in the music department for the Somerset Public Schools, excuse me, and he was always involved in the Friends of Music because of his position. And the one thing that my father always handled, ever since I could remember, is organizing the Musictown Parade. And I had a desire to be part of the parade. I wanted, you know, I heard him explaining and talking about everything that was going to be in the parade and all the excitement, and I would sit there and watch the parade, that after a while, as I got older, I wanted to be part of organizing and helping the parade.
For those at home who don't know, who was your dad?
Robert Soares, yes, Robert Soares. He had taught at what was then South Middle School, and then they combined to the junior high. And then when Dr. Perry left the high school, he came over here until he ultimately retired. So yep, it's been a big, huge part of who I am growing up. And then, you know, I really wanted to do more and be more involved in that whole process. So when I approached my father and asked him if, you know, I could help out, I don't think he really thought I was serious. Or either that or he's trying to teach me how difficult it actually is. So my first job was parking lot attendant. So I put on a red and white striped vest and he stuck me in the church parking lot and said, "Nobody parks here." And that was my first job, but I also think it was a test as well. And sure enough, you know, it went well, and then I liked it enough that the next year I came back for more. So I think I did a couple of years of parking lot attendant before, you know, then I became involved in the actual high school bands, and so I was in the parade that way. And then after that, it was, you know, kind of an opportunity for me to take over the organizing of the parade. Once my first son was born, Mr. Tavares, Ed Tavares, who had been the previous parade organizer with my father, had retired as well. And I was approached and said, you know, "Hey, you know, are you serious about, you know, one day taking over the parade?" And I was like, "Well, sure."
I have a new baby, but that's okay.
It was okay. It was great. And you know, everything that Mr. Tavares and my father did was on either a handwritten form or typewriter, everything. And I still have those forms, and they're, you know, yellowed, and the handwriting is there. You know, and that's how they did it. And they put it together so seamlessly. Yeah. But I'm looking at it now because we have computers, we have Excel, we can organize things a lot easier, and email everybody or text somebody, where before it was, you know, type out the letters, send the copy, send the self-addressed stamped envelope, and that's how we did it, you know, from the beginning until it's, you know, after a while you're saying, "Hey, you know, I think there's an easier way to do this." And then I did that for probably about 3 or 4 years, and then while I was a stay-at-home mom, so that was something really great to keep me busy, keep myself involved in the music program. And then when my father retired from the school department, my husband and I, we moved away, not too far, but we did move, and so I kind of lost that connection a little bit. I wasn't as involved anymore. I wasn't able to. My boys were growing, I had gone back to work, and it was a lot more of a commitment that I could handle with 2 young ones at home. And so then we moved back to Somerset, and my son started in the music department, which I was so excited about. He started in middle school singing in the chorus, and he was really showing a love of music, and I said, "Okay, I can do this again."
The next generation.
Yes,
yeah.
I was so excited to see how, you know, the music department had evolved into, you know, the different types of entertaining, the show choirs and the things that they're doing now, and it's so incredible, and the kids that are a part of these groups are so awesome that I'm like, okay, I gotta be a part of this again. So how do I get my hands in this again? So it was just a matter of attending the meetings with the Somerset Friends of Music, and those old faces were still there. And I don't mean by old, I mean those that have been there, the dedicated individuals were still part of those meetings, and it was so nice, and they were so welcoming and so happy that I was able to, you know, join them again, and then picked right back up where I left off.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so it was really good. It's really exciting. And then this past June, the current president had retired, and there was an open spot for the president, and I had been asked if I was going to run for president, and I didn't think I could because I just didn't think, well, how am I going to be president? You know, I don't think I had enough confidence in myself that I could lead a group.
Yeah.
But with the urging of, you know, my family and my friends and the people in the committee, they're like, absolutely, you should do it. So here I am, and I'm so super excited and so happy that I did, because now I have a great relationship with the directors here and the music teachers at all the different schools, and I'm still building upon some that I haven't, you know, quite been able to connect with, but that is such a great, you know, feeling for me, and I'm so proud of that opportunity.
It's really been a growth for you. I mean, the way you started off to this point, so you've probably learned a lot along the way that you're going to bring to the committee, and that's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about it.
In our next segment, Jen's going to speak with Holly McNamara and tell you all about the events upcoming for Musictown Month.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Holly.
Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So last night, let's talk about the Musictown Ball.
Okay.
I went last night. I've been going for years, although there was a large gap in between when I was in college and out west. But tell us about that. And it was a really successful event, but tell everyone about that event.
Okay. The ball is actually the kickoff to the Musictown festivities. It's been going on, as we were talking before, 43 years. And at the ball, we basically crown the Musictown king and queen, and we have a princess and a Miss Congeniality. And because it's the kickoff to the whole festival, the kids actually perform. The marching band comes in and performs. We had performances by the show choir, and we also had performances by the string ensemble, which were phenomenal. And it's a nice way for the students to be able to showcase their abilities in front of their peers and their teachers and their community and their family, because they have been working so hard, and it's only been 4 weeks since they've been back to school, really. And that's the opportunity that they have to show you all the hard work and dedication that they've put into their talent. Unlike other schools, some schools, I shouldn't say unlike others, but some schools actually have their show choir and their marching band as part of their regular curriculum for the day, or like an elective, where our program here is actually after school hours. So these kids are not only going to school all day, but they're also staying after school to practice and rehearse until pretty late sometimes, and then going home, eating and doing their homework. So they're dedicated to, to their talent and also to the music department as well. So it's such a great night for them, and really we appreciate them, and we have a dinner and dancing after, and it's a really great time.
Your son was DJing, right?
He was, yeah, he was.
That must have been so exciting.
He was so excited. He was so happy to be asked. They asked him back in January, and he was really honored to have been able to, that's his talent, in front of his friends.
He did a great job.
Yeah, he had a really great time, and the kids danced up until 11 o'clock.
They sure did.
But, it's always been on a Thursday. That's always been the day of the week that we do it. And it's easier to do it that way because for scheduling purposes and, to keep costs down for those that are able to attend, But we had about 400 people there.
There were a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of contestants.
Yeah, there were, I believe, 23 contestants for Queen and 5 King contestants, which was amazing because it's been a couple of years since we had a King. We have to have at least 4 contestants in order to have the King competition, just to keep it fair. And this year we had 5 contestants, so it was really great. The King winner is William Medeiros, who is a senior here, and he's an incredibly smart and talented young man. And I had the opportunity to really see his personality come through when he played Gaston in Beauty and the Beast.
I saw that. It was incredible.
Yes, it was.
Absolutely incredible.
Because if you talk to him, he's very, very polite and very studious. But then he just let his true, humor come out in that role, and he was perfect for it.
And his essay was really interesting, really deep.
It was deep. Yeah, absolutely. I think he was listening to music that I had not heard of before, older music and John Denver references, and it was really, really nice to see that and hear that coming from, such a young individual. And then our queen is Haley Chase, and she is a string player as well. And she had a beautiful essay, and she's a dancer too, I believe. And she's just a really poised young lady, and she's really going to represent Musictown beautifully because she's a really, really sweet girl. Haley Langton is our princess. Haley, I believe, was princess last year, so she's run a few years, and she's a really great girl. She's in the show choir. I'm not sure of any other groups that she's in, but I definitely know she's in the show choir, and a really cute kid. And the Miss Congeniality is Cara Canus. And Kara's a really sweet girl. I remember saying to my son, one of the concerts last year when he was a freshman here, I said, who's who's that young girl that, you know, just always says hi to me, and she's really polite all that, and he goes, oh, that's Kara, you know, and so it didn't surprise me that she was chosen as Miss Congeniality.
That's great. Yeah, they all just seem like such great kids.
Oh, they are.
And it's such a good event.
Yes.
I ran some 20 some odd years ago.
Yeah,
when we were there.
yeah.
And so I didn't win anything, but it was such a great experience regardless of, you know, I think you would agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They put, if you want to run, then you have to, you know, put the time in, and you have to, you know, Mrs. So is very strict about meetings, and the essay topic has not changed in 43 years, what music means to me.
Yeah.
And it really makes you stop and think, you know, because you know what music means to you in your mind. But to actually put it down in words is not that easy.
No,
I mean, we tried to do that, and that it really wasn't that easy. I'm like, well, it's everything. I mean, I love music and music, but to really be able to put it out in words and describe it the way that these students did is just really incredible. And they have to go through an interview process.
Mm-hmm.
There are 6 judges that are chosen different every year, and they all have to have some kind of background of sorts in music in the area of the arts. And these kids are here at the high school for one whole Sunday, all day, and one by one they go in front of those judges and they read their essay, and they also have to fill out somewhat of a questionnaire, and it tells about, you know, their extracurricular activities. So these judges have this in front of them, and they're able to ask them questions based on that, just to see how well they speak publicly, and how comfortable they are, and how confident they are, and who would be the best representation for, you know, for Musictown.
Yeah, and we are Musictown. It's just
Yes.
so great to see the pride and the involvement, and we have so many contestants. I don't remember how many we had, but I remember being so nervous on
Yes.
Sunday and the interviews. It was
Yeah.
just so intense, but so great.
But it was fun because,
Yeah.
you know, we were all in a room together and, you know, just talking. I mean, now, Mrs. So was really funny because she's like, I tell them to put their phones away. Everybody's going to talk to one another. And, you know, and I think that is a really big part of it. But it also provides these kids these opportunities to actually be in front of people, public speaking, getting ready for college interviews, job interviews. This is something that would have been completely foreign to them if they were going for their first job interview. They wouldn't know what to expect. So this kind of already gave them, you know, a heads up of what to expect when they're going, you know, for an interview for work or school.
Would you agree too that Musictown Festival is Somerset's kind of homecoming? We don't have a homecoming.
Right.
This is kind of like our homecoming queen, per se.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. Since we don't have a homecoming, I would say that this is, you know, similar to that in the sense that, you know, it's surrounded by the music area, but it's definitely what our town has always been known for. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because I talk to people that are from other towns and cities that had kids go through the music program in their area, and when I mention Somerset and Musictown and the Friends of Music, and they're like, oh my gosh, I remember when my daughter was in the marching band at such and such high school, and we went down to the festival and we always had such a good time, and Somerset was always big on that. And so it really definitely is something that's been traditional.
Well, it sounds like people know about it.
Oh, absolutely.
And I wouldn't have realized that back then, but
Mm-hmm.
now it sounds like more communities in the surrounding areas know, especially now that, so let's talk about more events that you have coming up, which leads me to the parade. So
Yeah.
the other towns are coming in,
Yes.
and you moved the parade date, which is notorious for being on a Sunday,
Correct.
is now on a Saturday, right?
Yes.
October 22nd
Yes.
at 12:30.
The parade steps off at 12:30,
Right.
correct. Leading up to the parade, we have our Pops Night, which is on October 13th, here at the Performing Arts Center at the high school. Then on the 15th, we have Kiddies Day, which is something that we love to have because what we do is we allow the young kids that are, you know, not old enough yet to play an instrument, but get them involved and excited about that opportunity that they're going to have coming up in their school careers with music. So they get to come and try the instruments and twirl a flag with the marching band. And of course, we have other activities for them. So this year, the theme is Star Wars because of the new movie that came out, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I had, you know, no problem doing that. And then we have our concert night, which is on the 18th of October, and that is Tuesday, and then the 22nd is the parade. And along with the parade being on a Saturday, we have the NESBA competition field show that we're hosting here. And there's a big reason why we moved the parade to the Saturday, so that we could incorporate the two together, because now as more marching bands are doing competitions, they're putting, you know, their funds into doing the competitions with their bands, and they're all held on Saturdays. We wanted to be able to give back to our community a great parade. It's our way of saying thank you for all the support throughout the years. And the missing thing that has happened is the amount of marching bands from the areas. People really look forward to seeing all the different kinds of marching bands, the uniforms, and so on. So in order to kind of bring that back, we changed the parade day to the Saturday, the same day we are doing the competition here, in order to be able to have the bands do the parade and then compete in the competition.
Yeah, I guess because otherwise they would have to choose, because they can't really spend the money to stay overnight.
Right, and it's definitely, you know, when you're a competition band, you know, you do your competitions, and that's what you're, you know, want to do, and that's what you're budgeted for. So to do a parade is extra, and it's always hard, and it's always pulling at the budget. So we try to answer the call of the community by having more marching bands, and then making it more convenient for them to join us by moving it to the Saturday so that we can incorporate it with the competition.
Now, on a flip side, I know a lot of the businesses are along the parade route because it's on the main road. So I know that the Friends of Music have been working very hard with these businesses to be sure that they're not interrupted too much. And you do, and I believe that they should be encouraged to kind of use that as an opportunity, because there are tons of people coming to this parade. They're going to be standing right in front of these businesses. People from other towns, people from our town. Maybe use that as an incentive. Do you have anything to add about that?
Absolutely. You know, we did step the parade off at 12:30, so in the hopes that we wouldn't disrupt too many businesses, because those that are open, some of them do tend to close at 12, such as the banks. But we had hoped that, yeah, putting an audience and, you know, to watch the parade in front of the business would entice them to maybe give out a coupon or a flyer. There are a lot of businesses, small businesses here in Somerset that we really need to be, you know,
promoting.
And
they need more visibility. This is a huge visible day.
It is. And I can tell you, I mean, I've lived in Somerset all my life, and I can tell you the names of some of the places because I drive by them, but I couldn't tell you what they offer. And I'm not the type of consumer that's going to go into a place and just kind of look around, you know. I kind of have to be given something. So maybe this is an opportunity for those smaller businesses to have like a brochure or a flyer for those patrons that are right in front of their door on that day. You know, and I don't know, maybe even like a special or something if they want to. It's completely up to them, but it gives them the opportunity to get their name out there a little bit more. So I'm hoping that they'll utilize that opportunity that we're giving to them, as well as celebrating them, because they do support us so much.
We do.
Yeah.
Well, great. Thank you so much for coming, Jen. I'm really looking forward to the parade and all of the other events. I think I'm actually able to make all of them, but it's great what you guys are doing, and it's awesome to see you as the president now.
I know. Well, you were the president last time, right? Holly was the president of the marching band when I was drum major, so.
So it all fits now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it came full circle.
It did. Yeah, it's so awesome. Thank you so much, Holly. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. And thanks everyone for watching. This is a perfect example of how the town can come together as one and work together, the businesses, the music departments, the high school, the students, and the teachers. So thanks for watching. Feel free to reach out to us at any time, somersetroundtable.com, and email us at info@somersetroundtable.com if you have any guest ideas or if you would like to be a guest as well. Thank you.